let's break the ice. Hi everyone, this is Talk and Chalk. I'm Beck. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been with me this whole time, you'll see now I've got over 1,300 subscribers. Who would have ever thought this would happen? My tiny little channel is now growing and I am meeting some amazing people out there. Thank you for all the wonderful messages. People have been sending me direct messages on either the Talk and Chalk Facebook page, on my Twitter profile, just generally in the teaching groups that I'm in. And I've got to say the feedback is just so sweet, so lovely, so genuine, and I love sharing with all of you guys. It's amazing. There's so many out there, so many teachers out there that want to collaborate and share, and this is a great platform to do it. If you haven't seen any of my social media things, click all the links below. I joined Instagram. Holy crap, is that thing amazing. Previously, if you saw my live stream, you saw I only use Instagram for like a little photo album essentially for my third son that I don't have a proper baby album for, so I created an Instagram account. So I never really used it for teaching, and I didn't realize how massive it is. There are so many teachers out there using Instagram, and there is so much good stuff on there. It's a little bit addictive though, but if you want to follow me on Instagram, I've started doing it. I'll put the link below as well. Today though, we're getting into Icebreakers. Now, I'm going into my 16th year of teaching. So I've been doing Icebreakers, obviously, beginning of every year that I've been teaching. And, excuse me, I've tried to modify as I go through the years. So the biggest things that I've found that work well are things that are unique. So doing the general, do you have any brothers or sisters? Do you have any pets? Those sorts of things. They're doing that every single year. And if you're in a small school, these kids already know each other. Chances are you probably know them too. If you're in a bigger school though, this might be a whole new cohort. These kids could, if there's 6 classes in one grade, chances are they're going into a class where they've got other students that they've never met before really, or at least engaged with on a personal level. So you really, really want to get them excited about getting to know each other. So when you get into that situation, obviously you as a teacher need to use your expertise to decide whether or not they need to go in depth, if they need to go funny, if they already know each other well enough and they really don't need to spend time on activities that aren't meaningful and purposeful in terms of getting to know each other. So I'm going to share with you guys the ones that I like to do because I think they're unique and they get kids talking and it makes them have a good day and you actually get to know something about them. And I'm going to share them with you. I'm going to try and give you links down below. So I've got a few things I'm going to share. Everything will be in the description below. So if you're watching this from Twitter or Facebook or some other platform, you're going to need to open this up into YouTube to be able to click the little button that drops down the description below, and all of the links will be there. And I'll put little titles on each of them so you can see them. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Any link that I give you will be free and take you directly to it. If there's something that's missing in there, just send me a personal message on Facebook or Twitter and I'll email it through to you, not a problem. So what I'm going to do though is just go through a couple of notes. My trusty diary. It's school holidays. So a few minutes before I started making this video, I made my hubby a cup of tea. That's a little bit of bribery to say, watch the kids while I make a video. And instead of walking the tea out to him, I walked the milk. I put the milk into the cup of tea, I put the lid back on the milk, and then I walked the milk out and I went, that's not your cup of tea. So my brain's not necessarily at 100% at the moment because it's holidays, deal with it. So anyway, I wrote notes for myself so I wouldn't stuff up too much. So in terms of doing your icebreakers, you need to do it in a way that you feel comfortable doing it as well because it's new for you with the kids. Even if you've been teaching a long time, I still get nervous meeting my new kids. You don't know what they're going to be like, if they're going to like you, if they're going to appreciate what you do. So you need to decide, are you going to sit down and talk? Are you going to get into small groups? Are you going to do think, pair, share style? Another way to do it is, have displays with the things that you're going to talk about, and the kids could write on post-it notes what their contribution will be, and they can stick it up and then you can discuss or take photos and share it on Dojo. You might want to draw it and share it. You might have a very creative group of drawers where you pose whatever the scenario is and they could draw it and then share it and then display it and start your classroom displays off like that. So ultimately, though, it's good to get kids talking to one another, depending on their needs, though. Not every kid talks. We know that I had a student in my class previously with selective mutism. She's not going to talk. She might want to draw it. So I'm going to go through some of the ones that I like to use as a think, pair, share, and they're really cool. So I will show you what they look like, but I'm just going to read some out because some of them are really funny. So these come in little cards like this. Oops. I need to flip that around. And all I do is I print them off and I put them, I don't even laminate them because you're not going to use them again this year. There's no point. Just stick it on paper. It doesn't matter. And give it out to kids in their Think, Pair, Share or in groups. And I love these ones. So depending on the age group you've got, you'll decide whether they're appropriate or not. One says, if someone's underwear was showing, would you tell them? This was the best one that I had with a particular 2-3 class that I had. And it was so interesting to talk about friendships because you'd see one person go, no, why would I tell them? And the person that like their bestie would look at him and go, what? Really? Like the friend that they'd had the whole year before was surprised by that answer. And then they would get into detail. I'm not asking them why. It's up to them if they want to tell me why. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? This was really cool because at the time that I first used this, it was like really when Marvel was hitting the screens, like everything was getting big. It's even bigger now. It's huge now. So kids know more than your basic superpowers. There's more than flying and turning invisible and laser eyes. They'll come up with the trippiest of superpowers and go into description, and then other kids would be like, oh, that's like that character, or oh, that would be cool, I would do that one as well. And that would generate some conversation that way. That would be a great one to draw too. For older kids, it would be if you bumped your car into someone else's but no one saw, what would you do? So obviously that would be more for either secondary or, your stage 3 kids, thinking ahead to when you actually have a car and do those things. If you had to pick one current hit song to play continuously, non-stop, in the background of your everyday life, what song would it be? I don't know what mine would be. I'd have to think on that one. Depends on my mood, I guess. But you've really got to emphasize to play continuously. Not just what one song would you like, continuously over and over and over again. If you only had 24 hours to live, what would you do? That's another one. So, gets them thinking. Now, obviously, those necessarily wouldn't be ones that you would use with infants. I've got some other sort of more basic ones that would work with infants. So tell us something that makes you happy. That's a good one. What's your favorite game to play with your brother or sister? This one's really good because then if you note those down, those are the games the kids like to play and you can use them as your, mind breaks and stuff in the classroom. What is something you would like to learn? That should really go in with your growth mindset or goal planning. Describe your perfect day. Doesn't have to be a school day. Any perfect day. If you had to live inside of a TV show for a whole week, which show would you like to be in? And you need to tell them as well. It can be a cartoon, it can be fantasy, it can be a news story if you want to, not a movie, but a TV show. Get them reminding them of that ongoing nature of it. And there's more on there. This is another sheet that I've got for younger ones. So moving on from there, if you want to get the kids up and moving as opposed to just talking and sharing, treasure hunts are the great way to do that. And there's personality treasure hunts that you can do. So again, I took photos of these, but these are on Word documents that I'll share with you. This one's called a human scavenger hunt. So it looks like that. And the idea is that they put the person's name on the little line there. And this is American, so you might want to go in and modify because one on there says, has visited Washington, D.C. So you might want to change that to has visited Canberra or the Gold Coast or whatever. So you go and find a person that, first one there says, has been out of the country. Another one says, is an only child. So can you find the person in the class that's the only child? Put their name there. Has won a contest of some kind. Put their name there. Another one says, loves to cook or read more than one book this summer. Has a pet that isn't a dog or a cat. So this is where you'll find out if someone's got a rabbit or a turtle or a mouse or something. And then they fill in the names of that and find out if they all had the same names in the same squares or if there are different ones. Another one is a very simple one. just looks like that. It's another Word document. And similar things, you just put the name in the square of the person it is, but it'll say things like, I went to the movies this summer. I went fishing this summer. I've done that, so I could fill that one in. They could put my name for that one. I am the youngest in my family. I have 3 or more pets. I have been to the ocean. That was an interesting one when I was in the country setting because we couldn't fill one in that section, except for me. They all had to put my name in there if they were doing that because not a single student in the class had been to the ocean. They'd lived in the country their whole life and hadn't been yet. I take dance lessons. I take karate lessons, etc., etc. So they walk around the room trying to find the person they could fill it in. And it's good for talking to because you're not just talking to the person, that you're asking, oh, are you any of these things? Someone else will go, oh, did you know blah over there did this one? Oh, really? So you're kind of talking through people and then go over to the person that you want as well. Okay, I'm just going to go back to my notes now. So those are the sheets that I will link for you. So that's getting more personal. Another thing that you could do is a birthday timeline. So obviously beforehand you would need to get the kids' birthdays because not every kid knows their birthday. Yes, even up to year 6, some kids don't know their birthday. Unfortunately, there are some sad situations where I've been in where the families can't celebrate. They cannot afford to celebrate it. Some religiously choose not to celebrate. So you'll need to find out whose birthday is when. And in my situation, that's on Central. You'll be able to find it in their pupil record cards. Not a problem. Now, this would take organisation, obviously. So you might not be able to do it on the first day. That's okay. You don't do it all on the first day. So a birthday timeline where you would have the birthdays out there and then the kids would have to get themselves into sequence from, January to December. So you could do this as a maths activity as well in terms of time. And it could have their picture, or maybe they could draw a portrait of themselves, or they could add their own picture in there, or just write their name, decorative writing, and then create a timeline of the birthdays in the class. And this could also become a class display for throughout the year. So when people's birthdays are. Another thing that you could do is a class mural if you've got room for it. Get a sheet up, create a mural, do a display, and it could be anything from water paint balloons to the straw blowing paint, or get the squirt bottles with watered down paint in it and spray something on there. Just doing it together and having fun. It does get messy, obviously, though, so either wear aprons or paint shirts or whatever. Doing book covers. I mentioned this in another video. I love sitting down and doing book covers with the kids. One, like I mentioned before, I like having covers on my books. It's neat and tidy, but also because you get to sit down and spend time with the kids. When when your hands are busy, your mouth is free to talk. So that's a good time to get to know your kids. When we come back from school, we've got our Australia Day celebrations the day before, pretty much 2 days before the kids come back. So, you've got that opportunity there to collaborate and do an art activity if you want on something Australiana. Another thing is student profiles in the classroom. So you kind of do the mock Instagram or Twitter or Facebook thing and you have their photos ready to go. Most schools save digital copies of student photos beforehand. So again, this probably wouldn't be something you do on the first day, but you know what? Take photos of them on the first day. First day in year 2, first day in year 6, first day in kindergarten, whatever. Take their photos and you can do it yourself. You just got to print it. You don't have to decorate it yourself. Get them to do it. That's part of the process, part of them engaging in the displays in the classroom. So, and then they can do that together and they can write a profile and share it with someone and do a feedback together. And you can say, what does your partner have, on their little profile. There's tons of games out there where they have to get up and move. So fruit salad, if you don't know what fruit salad is, if you're one of my international watchers, you get into a circle and you give them fruit. So your apple, your banana, your pear, your peach. Apple, banana, pear, peach, blah, 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 blah. Go all the way around. If you're an apple, you say apple, and all the apples have to get up and swap seats and take someone else's seat. Banana, all the bananas get up, no, swap seats. And then when you say fruit salad, everyone has to get up and find a new seat. But as you go, you remove a chair. So someone's going to be out every single time. Someone's going to miss out on a chair. And then eventually you get down to a winner. I guess it's kind of like musical chairs. It's just without the music. It's with fruit. Musical chairs is another way that you could do it. I love the activity, though, where you get kids to do the knots. So you stand in a circle and everyone has to just reach out and randomly grab someone else's hand. And then you have to unknot yourself. Good talking and listening activity, good teamwork, good problem solving, and they, get used to being close and near each other because that's what's going to happen. Another activity that you can do is the one where they all stand in a circle, all holding hands, and then you put like a hula hoop through. They've got to try and weave it around the whole circle and see who gets it the fastest, or beat their own time. Someone's a timer and they've got to try and beat their own time every time they get around to it. Another one you could do is the clap. So they all stand in a circle, clap, 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 all the way around the circle and time it and see if you can get faster and faster and faster every time. Little things like that. These are all just random games that you can play as well. Now, obviously, like I said, you don't do all of this on the first day. Plan your first week or fortnight of icebreakers. You're not going to get to know them on the first day. They're not going to open up completely on the first day. The ones that do, yeah, well, you know what they're going to be like for the rest of the term. So, map out what you're going to do. Maybe have one each session. I would not sit down with all of those icebreakers and do all of those icebreakers in the morning session. I would pick one, maybe two, to get some talking going. Then after you come back from recess or lunch, do another one or two. Not all of them. Don't sit down and go through the entire 12 or 9 or however many it is in one go. That's a waste. It's overdoing it, and then you've utilized all your resources in one day. I would do different things each day as you go. Now, Friday afternoon is a good one, for something pretty chill. In Australia, obviously it's hot in the afternoon, so you might want to do something inside in the aircon, but if it's good weather, go outside, play a game, do something team sportish. I love playing kickball. It's like baseball or softball, except you get a dodgeball and kick it, pretty much. So those are the rules. You're kicking it instead of throwing it. So you still set up your bases, home, first, second, third, and a pitcher's plate. The pitcher has to roll it so that it stays on the ground. The person who's in, the batter, kicks it. If it's caught on the full, it's out. If they swing their foot and miss it, it's a strike. If they kick it and it goes behind them, it's a foul. Same rules. They've got to get to first base, second base, third base, and you just count the runs. That's it. They just love it because it's different, and it's easier for each child to be able to participate in that game regardless of their skill, because it's a big ball and it's kicking. It's not that hard, and anyone can kick it. If you're in outfield and you want to get it back to the home base, you kick it back, not a problem. Okay, I'm just looking back at my notes again. Okay, I've got a book of questions, so I want to show you this one as well, because this is designed, to engage questions of any age. So I wonder if I can. I don't think I took a photo of it, so I'm gonna switch to this camera, and I'm going to show you what it looks like on here. So I'm just going to stop this. Okay, so this is called the Complete Book of Questions. I will do my best to link this to you. If I can't, please email me and or message me and I'll send it to you. So as you go through, it gives you information about questioning, but then, when you go down, I'm just going to keep skipping. Here we go. Here are some random questions that you can use. There's so many of them. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you sing? When you're alone at home, do you wear shoes, socks, slippers, or go barefoot? And this just goes on and on. There's 1,001 of them. These are really, really good. But I'll show you what it looks like in case you want to Google it. Oh, go back up. So it's by Gary Poole. This is really good. Like I said, just tons and tons of questions on there. The other thing that you could use, and if you'd like, there's so many different versions of this, is Circle Time. So I might just flip the camera back because I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. Okay, so Circle Time was something I was introduced to 6 years ago, I think it was now, probably a little bit more. And it's a really, really great program, but it's an ongoing thing. It's something that you do regularly, where you literally sit your kids down in a circle and you have open and frank discussions, and there are guidelines that you follow to do it. It came out of the UK, I believe. I haven't done in-depth professional learning on this. This was 2 schools ago that I had some in-school professional learning on this from someone else who had been trained. So, I guess I didn't get the full experience. However, the programs are amazing. And if you go on and just Google Circle Time, or, any teacher site will have programs on there that are available to you. So the version that I had from the teacher that led it in my school was very good, and I've used it and modified it to suit the needs of the kids that I had. However, if you find something out there, I'm sure there's something out there, and if you find professional learning on it, I would assume that it would be just as good, considering it's been going for about 6 years now. So I would recommend circle time as an ongoing way to get to know your kids and understand your kids as well. Now, icebreakers, remember, literally, it's just breaking the ice. It's not getting into the nitty-gritty. We need to make sure as teachers that we're still being supportive, that we get to know our kids' needs, their academic, their social, their behavioral, their welfare needs. This is just getting them to talk. It's not going to be done in the first week or even the first fortnight. And every time we get to something new with our kids, if something has changed in their lives, we need to reaffirm that relationship. Remember, relationship is key with our kids. It's the only way we're going to make sure we have an impact on their learning, on their well-being, and on their general growth as a person. That's what we want to do. So I'm going to leave it there, but if you've got an icebreaker that you think is great, please pop it in the comments below and share it with anyone else that's watching. If you found this useful, I would appreciate a thumbs up. It's always good to get feedback, or if you want to send me a message, please send me one as well. I'm going to continue to do back to school videos throughout these holidays. So I've written them down. I'll give you just a list of what I've got. So I've done the icebreakers and getting to know you today. I'm also going to be doing setting up your classroom and setting up expectations with your students, like talking about behavior expectations, work expectations, movement, resources and classroom preparation, so the physical layout of the room, planning and programming. I'm excited to be doing a response video to the OneNote daily planner that is coming out from Pip and Megan Towns. So if you're in the Butterfly Wings group, you are also just as excited as me about that coming out. So when it comes out, I'm going to be videoing what I discover in there so that you can see what I see and doing a response on that. And I've asked Pip for permission to do that. So I'm excited about that one. Setting goals for 2018. So, utilizing the performance development framework, how to set goals, how to reflect on our previous goals, whether it's learning, teaching, or if you've got aspirational leadership goals as well. Day one of school, what you could do for your routine and your organization for the very first day, and another video on using sensory resources and fidget toys. So that should take up all of January because I do 2 videos each week. So those are the topics I've got right there. If there's anything else that you think I should be adding to that, let me know as well. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it there for today. If you haven't clicked to subscribe, I'm going to put my button here. You just hover over that and then click on the subscribe, and then you'll know if I've got more videos coming out, and I'll put one of my other videos up the top there. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and I look forward to seeing you all on Instagram as well. Thanks, guys. Bye.